are here live in person, you are also attending our social meditation service. And to make it a little bit more amenable for everybody, if everybody can just make sure that any cellular devices you have are in do not disturb mode or in meditation mode, also known as airplane mode, or just off, whatever works for you. For those of you at home, you're going to probably want to put yours in do not disturb mode, as we also go into do not disturb mode. So good morning and welcome. I'm Reverend Keith. This is our meditation time. Our meditation service practices the principle of oneness with the divine, communion with the divine. Communion with the divine is achieved when we choose it so, acknowledge it so, and allow it to be so. And it is best when we let go of thoughts, to-dos, distractions. So I'll be centering us. That's what centering is. Centering is what takes you from your surface mind consciousness, where you're thinking, projecting, reflecting on things of the past, and you're allowing it all to be let go of so that you can simply be in the stillness. We are doing a stillness meditation where the idea or the intention of a stillness meditation is that you're just letting go of all thoughts. No figuring, no analyzing, just being, as Wayne Dyer would say, in the space between the words. As always, I have a few recommendations and guidelines. If you hear every word I say, wonderful, the centering is what takes us out of the chattering mind. If you don't hear a word I say, that's okay. If you go off into the zone, into the ethers, and are having a wonderful time, that's good. If you have any thoughts, maybe there's a wandering thought that comes in as, when is this going to be over? Or what am I going to have for lunch or brunch? Or, whatever that may be, the best thing to do is just let it pass by. Don't attach to it, and don't make it bad, and don't make it wrong. Just let it pass on by to the best of your ability. We'll give you some handy ways to avoid that, and you'll be able to use that during the centering. And if you doze off, that's actually probably a good sign. And so anything, most important thing is that you're comfortable. Some meditation practices would have you hold a particular position, nothing crossed, back erect, which is, there's reasons for that. But here we just say whatever's going to allow your body to be the most comfortable. For you at home, if you're laying in bed, I'm just going to say probably prop up a little bit. If you're sitting in a chair, perfect. And for those of us here, of course, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to recommend a closed-eyed meditation, but for any reason you choose to do it as an open-eyed meditation, you're welcome to do so. An open-eyed meditation, when it's not a video of beautiful, serene scenes, would be one-pointed, where you focus on one thing with your eyes. So you find one place to focus on. Don't let your eyes wander, because if your eyes wander, your mind will wander. Otherwise, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes as we prepare to begin. And as always, we begin by first giving ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves in our minds, I give myself permission to relax. As we invite, as we evoke, and as we allow the divine energies, the eternal frequencies of peace, love, beauty, and grace, serenity and tranquility, wellness and goodness, to wash over us and to rise up from within us, knowing we have no place to go, we have nothing to do, except completely surrender into the deepest states of relaxation, rejuvenation, and revelation. I invite you to, once again, bring your awareness to your breathing, simply observing the inhalation and the exhalation as it passes through your nose or your mouth. Just be aware of that cool, soft breeze coming in and out without changing it, without efforting or trying, solely through intention. We intend to allow our breathing to become fuller, richer, fresher, and deeper. Every cycle of breathing is going to soften and expand, all on its own. And as you allow your breath to expand, I invite you to bring your awareness to your mind's eye, the middle of your brow. As we awaken our divine sensorium, allow the imagination, the inner eye, to open and stretch. As you bring your awareness to the middle of your forehead, to insight, you may see colors, you may feel tingles, you may feel a little pressure in your brow, you may just see darkness, you may see an eye with an eyelid open and look around. Whatever you see, whatever you sense, just allow your mind's eye to open, aligning with inspiration. I invite you to bring your awareness to your left ear and to your right ear. You may notice an energy traveling between the two. As we have an awareness on the outer ears, we intend and allow them to merge with the inner ear, tuning and aligning to the voice of spirit, the voice of your soul, the voice of truth, the still small voice, allowing all distractions, inner and outer, to slowly and gently fade into the background. And as the inner ear attunes and aligns, opening, we bring our awareness to our crown at the top of our head. And we allow the surface mind to fully merge with the higher mind, open to only that which are the thoughts, the ideas of truth, of the soul, of providence. I invite you to imagine that you are sitting beneath a beautiful waterfall of golden white light that is pouring down from the highest point of divinity you can imagine. Snowflakes of light wafting from the heavens. This eternal light of beauty, of peace, of God, landing upon your scalp, your shoulders, your thighs, feel the energy merging with your cells and bones and tissues, and cascading light flowing all the way down through your crown, through your hips, and into your feet. It begins to soften and strengthen, releasing all density and heaviness. You can feel your feet, the arches, the heels, the ankles flooding with light. And that energy tingling and rising up into your shins and calves, flooding all the muscles, the bones, the cartilage in your knees, begins to rise into your thighs and hamstrings. You can feel everything softening and strengthening at the same time, as waves of relaxation and rejuvenation stimulate homeostasis and peace. And that energy begins to swirl around the base of your spine as your hips flood with light. The root open to the life force of creation. Courage, divine strength rising into your lower belly, your lower back, as balance and harmony flood and rise into your core and middle back. Ease and spaciousness, strengthening every organ, muscle, and tissue as the energy makes its way up into your heart, your chest, and soft energies of beauty and joy begin to proliferate and rise from your shoulder blades into the shoulders. Freedom overflowing your shoulders, flowing through your elbows, into your palms and fingers. You can feel the light as luminosity and weightlessness, as density continues to evaporate, rising into your neck and throat, and self-love and eloquence flooding the body magnificence that we sometimes refer to as the universe, as God, the Creator, the One, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Elohim, Adonai, all represent bliss, pure joy, beauty, unconditional love that is never judged and never withheld. As we relax, as we allow ourselves to remember, recognize, and return home, without having to go anywhere, we remember the truth that the omniamorous nature of life is all loving, simply seeks to know itself as you, as we, as we. We remember the truth that each and every one of us born from the holy light, the holy presence of infinite eternal magnificence. We know we speak beyond our name, gender, body, beyond our age, beyond nationality or race. There's a divine spark of infinite glory. The divine as you, as me, and we are united with this. And the same power, the same presence that created every galaxy, illuminates every star that is right now breathing our breath, knows itself as you, as me, and we choose to remember what it means to anchor heaven on earth, to glorify being born in the image and likeness of the divine, the energy of the soul, the energy of pure, unfettered, unencumbered, unlimited life that is good. I'm grateful to know that just by relaxing, by choosing and opening to the infinite light, that we return to the beginning, and we allow that eternal light to have its way. I'm grateful to know that our time together is bringing forward and yielding more good, physically, emotionally, mentally, situationally than ever before. And it's from a place of deep and abiding thanksgiving, knowing that there's no efforting in the divine. There is an ease, a spaciousness, a serendipitous glory. And we, simply by relaxing, have allowed it to be, and we continue even unto now. We allow ourselves to come back into a lucid state of divine awareness. And we simply agree to allow it to expand and be by saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen. Whenever you feel ready, if you haven't already, you can open your eyes. If you need a little extra grounding or balancing, take opposite hand to opposite knee is a great way to just get your masculine and feminine energies balanced. For those of you streaming in live, welcome back. For those of you here, we're going to take a break for just about 4 minutes before we start our music and message service. So for those of you at home, if you want to go run to the restroom, now would be a good time. Same for those of you here, the restrooms are up there if you need them. We're going to prepare for our music and message, and we will see you in just a few. Peace, blessings.
hit a crescendo, you're like, oh my god, how can I top that? Yeah, no, I know that. Oh, wow, I'm excited about that. Really nice. Yeah.
Teachings and all truth teachings to Orange County, and we are lighting up Orange County and all of the world each and every time we gather. So thank you for joining us in that vision and mission. Let's start with our declaration, please. That's in your program. Please stand and say it together. There is one life, and that life is God. That life is perfect, and that life is my life now. I am here to receive the divine message for me. I am awake, I am tapped in, and I am transformed. And here's Vaughn with our incredible announcements.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Vaughn. The music today is, of course, Brian on keys and Jesse on guitar and Rita. As always. Please remember to turn off the cell phones or put them away or sit on them or whatever you got to do. Events and classes. Reverend Keith's annual summer meditation and nature retreat is coming up Thursday and Friday, July 13th and 14th. Please join for 2 days, starting in the desert and within minutes to the top of the mountains above Palm Springs. Meditation, fellowship, and easy hiking in nature. Details and registration at soulcenteroc.com. Also, Reverend Keith's daily affirmative prayer streams live on Soul Center's Facebook page or Zoom, 9:30 a.m. Pacific every day except Sundays. The link is on our newsletter at soulcenteroc.com. A Course in Miracles with Akili Beckwith is on Tuesdays, 6 to 8 Pacific. Joining anytime. It's just a drop-in. You don't have to be signing up for anything. It's a fabulous class. This month is a little unusual. There will be no class or no meeting this week, week of June 4th. Beginning the week of June 11th, it will be on Thursdays at the same time on Zoom.
With the same link. With the same link.
With the same link, yes. And on July 25th, the meetings will resume on Tuesdays. Go back to that day. So that was a little confusing, but...
Where's all that information?
Sign up on our website. Timing is everything. Sign up on the website for the weekly newsletter for all Soul Center news, activities, and so forth. Volunteers. Help us thrive by volunteering. Go to soulcenteroc.com. or the welcome table to MC Birgit to sign up. Here's Birgit. I would throw in, I'm going to go off script for just a second. I've been volunteering. I've been here for a while, and for me, helping volunteering is part of the spiritual path. It's fulfilling, it's love in action. You know, every great spiritual teacher that has ever existed has described selfless service as part of the spiritual path. So I highly encourage people to help with that. There's a number of ways that could be done, and Birgit is the one who organizes these things. I've been doing setup and takedown for a long time, and it's part of what I do, and I love doing it. So I encourage everyone to try that out, and we can certainly use the help. Soul Circles. Join the Soul Circle in person or Zoom to grow together with others in the community by contacting Scott at soulcirclesoc@gmail.com. Is Scott here? I don't see Scott today. But that's a fabulous way also to connect with others, and Scott organizes that. The congregational song, and now let's sing.
Hold on, we have one
Oh,
more
yeah, sorry.
exciting announcement.
We have a
Yes,
special.
For those of you that were with us in January, you know that January was our anniversary month, and we were launching our 10th year, meaning we are currently in our 10th year. In January of next year, we will be celebrating the completion of 10 years. So that will be our grand finale 10-year anniversary. But in the meantime, in our 10th year, we got this letter that I'd like to read, if I can. It says, "Dear Jessica and Reverend Keith, a hearty, heartfelt, and much-deserved congratulations on Soul Center OC's 10 wonderful years of ministry and outstanding leadership and service through your mission to provide a sacred space for spiritual growth and conscious living. It has given me great pleasure to witness you flourish in beauty and with grace and excellence over the past decade. In light of this magnificent milestone, in honor of our most beloved Patricia Griffith, co-founder of Soul Center OC, it is my absolute joy and delight to gift you this tithe of $1,000 in continued support for your critical work in being a beautiful and beneficial presence on the planet for our community and the world. Peace and richest blessings, Reverend Michael."
We know that Patricia is absolutely fluttering her wings all
Yes.
over the place. And we're also, so you know, this is our 10th year. Our goal is sometime within this 10th year, we're going to have our permanent home. So all tithing that, you know, we want to be in a place where we can decorate it and paint it and have permanent magnificence. So
Leave the curtains up.
yes.
Yes.
All right. I believe it's time for our congregation song.
I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait for our permanent space. It's going to be so beautiful. It's going to be filled with so much love, and it's going to be filled with so many beautiful souls that we're going to help with healing their sacred relationships, with bringing them abundance, with bringing them peace, with bringing them joy, and we're just going to continue growing. I've been here for the past 10 years with Soul Center, and it's a pleasure to be here and to continue to serve with all of you. Are you ready to sing? There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, 'cause I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, 'cause I'm only here for God. Sing it with me, come on. Release and I let go. I let go. The Spirit run my life. Let the Spirit run. My heart is open wide. Open wide. Only here for God. Ooh, no struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free. Yes, I'm only God.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Lynn Shanky. Our reading is from The Pathway of Roses by Christian Larson. The cosmic world permeates the physical world as the spirit permeates substance, and the physical world is to the body as the cosmic is to the soul. According to the true purpose of life, the body should live in the physical world, enjoying everything that is good and beautiful in personal existence, while the soul should live in the cosmic world, enjoying everything that is good and beautiful in spiritual existence. This is complete existence, but the soul cannot consciously live in the cosmic until it is awakened, or until it has become conscious of its own divinity. The awakening of the soul into the world of its own spiritual nature will not deprive the body of anything that is worthy in physical life. We are not required to leave the physical to enjoy the spiritual, nor is it necessary to sacrifice anything that can add to the welfare of the body in order to inherit the riches of the soul. The greatest good comes into the whole of life only when the body lives a complete physical life and the soul a complete spiritual life. The soul cannot fully express itself until physical existence is all that it can be on the physical plane, and the body is not fully alive until the soul is awakened on the spiritual plane. We do not appreciate the beauty of the physical until we are illuminated by the light of the spiritual, and we cannot comprehend the marvelousness of the visible world until we can see the splendor and vastness from the supreme heights of the cosmic world. Let us turn within and pray. Oh, I'm so grateful for that reminder, knowing that we are spiritual beings, that we are beautiful human emanations. I'm grateful that we have this wonderful place called Soul Center that we can come and worship and listen to wonderful music and a wonderful message and meet wonderful people. How blessed I am to be a part of this great place. I know that God is all there is. Even in the reading, the reminder that we are one, our body is one with the Spirit, which means we're one with God. Knowing that we're one with God, each and every one of us, we are also connected to each other. Living this life together, loving in this life together, showing our love and our light through laughter and music and joy and happiness. I know that I'm one with the presence. Each one of us here is one with the presence. I know that we are all here today to share in this beautiful celebration of life, of love, of the word, of the music. I'm blessing Reverend Keith as he is going to bless us with his humor, his wit, his wisdom. And I know that these messages that he is revealing to us are coming straight from the divine. I'm blessing Jessica and Patricia, for they have given us this wonderful home. I'm blessing Jesse and Brian and Rena, knowing that the music just uplifts our vibration higher and higher. Woo! Blessing all of us here, knowing that we are the blessings, the blessed, and the blessers. And we are here to awaken the world to the love and light of the divine. I am so grateful and happy to be in this wonderful place, thankful to speak these words, release them into the law, and knowing that we are all perfect and whole and complete. And so I simply let it be. So it is. Amen.
So it is. Amen.
Whew. Weepy. All right, now it's time for our agape affirmations. You'll find them in your program, and they'll come up on the screen. And I will speak the line, and then we'll all repeat them aloud together with sincerity and acceptance. Please rise. I am a great participant in the ever-expanding good that is God.
I am a great participant in the ever-expanding good that is God.
Sincerity, earnestness, and resolve are my qualities of being.
Sincerity, earnestness, and resolve are my qualities of being.
Beauty, health, and wholeness express as my body temple.
Beauty, health, and wholeness express as my body temple.
My bank of universal good never runs out.
My bank of universal good never runs out.
This is the new set point for the rest of my life.
This is the new set point for the rest of my life.
Gratefully, I take the dare and live life fully.
Gratefully, I take the dare and live life fully.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Amen.
You may now be seated. And for those of you, just a gentle reminder, we have some prayer chaplains here today. And if you'd like prayer, it's confidential and it's very uplifting. And if you haven't tried it, I highly suggest it. It's really nice. And you can find us with the blue shawls. We'll be waiting outside after service. Peace and blessings.
So, I've been talking to God a lot lately. God's really starting to talk back. And it's been such a pleasure joining Reverend Keith and those of you that joined him with me for the daily prayer at 9:30. And even when he was on vacation with Jerome, I decided to join the Agape prayer group in his absence. And it's been a really, really great feeling to pray every day, not just for myself, but for our community, for Jessica, for the world, really. It's a beautiful feeling. And I feel like I'm more tapped in than ever, and that I can really feel the messages of the song that I sing for you guys. So I hope you feel this one. This is a Ricky Byers song. My wings were heavy, I could not fly, haunted by dreams that were meant to come true. Love was there, I could not see it, till the voice of salvation came shining through you. And you said, God is all, sing with me. There is, God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. In the sky of my mind was lightning and thunder. I never could trust it could finally be right, till the voice in my head said, don't worry, don't wonder. You told me the truth that had shattered the is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. And like the shepherd, you pulled me through when my heart was troubled, didn't know what to do. Your compassion planted the seed in my life. Now the flowers in me, all the time I'm singing, all the time I'm singing. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. If your wings are heavy, you cannot fly. Haunted by dreams that were meant to come true. God is right there, you just have to see it. Let the voice of salvation come shining through you. And you said, God is all, sing, there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there will ever be. God is all there will ever be.
You're on fire today. You are brilliant. Well, you always are. You always are. But just absolutely glorious. Brian and Jesse, we love you. All right, Soul Center, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I am Reverend Keith, and good afternoon and good evening to those of you streaming in live. Welcome. If you're streaming in live, you're sitting here. You are part of the Soul Center community. This service is about exploiting the divine in every way, benevolently and brilliantly. Before we get moving into the message of the service this morning, over the years, it has been a great pleasure since I came on board with Soul Center a little over 5 years ago to meet some of the most brilliant people that have inspired such greatness. Our beloved Patricia, who, along with her daughter Jessica, co-founded and said yes to a divine idea. To Allison Brown, who, if some of you remember our beautiful Allison,
Yes.
she was just a brilliant spark, and she was the one that was like, Reverend Keith, I want to go deeper into prayer. I want to go deeper. And when I said, well, I'm starting a prayer chaplaincy program, she's like, yes, yes. And she was just a powerful being in our presence. And Vaughn, you know how much we love our beloved Allison and Beth, Kylie, who started our children's program. Oh, Morley, sorry. Beth Kylie is still around. Morley, Kylie, sorry. Just as influence. And recently, this past Friday, a beloved member of our community, John Feta, whose beloved daughter Gina is sitting right here, made his transition. And for those of you who may have seen John or witnessed him here in our community, a brilliant, bright light. And I want to ask that, we know that our teachings say life is eternal. And I know that Patricia and Beth and Allison and John are in the next great adventure. They have moved on. Life is eternal, and there is a bliss that takes place when we transition. And he is a bright light, a
Yes,
brilliant
yes,
angel.
yes.
And so, Gina, we love you. You're his daughter and his granddaughter. We love you.
Yes.
And we also know that he is shining and smiling and free along with everybody else.
Dancing.
Absolutely. So we're going to hold a great space of brilliance for his family, and we're going to know that he is in this beautiful space of eternal life ever after, dancing with the divine.
Yes.
So thank you for that, and back to our regularly scheduled programming. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, there's energies that we move through as human beings, and there's transitional energies, as you know, moving from talking about transition and moving over to another dimension. And those transitional energies take us every day. We're transitioning and we're bouncing between happiness and joy, maybe anger, frustration, resentment, fear, worries, doubt. But I want to invite you to know that our community is an agape affiliate, a new thought, ageless wisdom teaching. We're asking you to transcend those temporal frequencies. And the temporal frequencies is where worry, doubt, fear, confusion, anxiety, stress, guilt, and shame. Those are of the temporal world. Now, many people would say, and that's part of the human experience. It is part of the human experience, and it is also part of the human experience to transcend that, not because those feelings are bad or wrong, but it's because they are all tied, all aspects of fear, worry, doubt, shame, guilt, stress, resentment, anger, are all tied to erroneous belief, lack, and limitation, which keeps us small and doesn't allow us to grow into the magnificence of the world. So that doesn't mean that we don't care. It means that you go into the greatest state of compassion when you are unencumbered by worry, doubt, and fear. You go into the greatest states of joy that is not the same as excitement. Joy is filled with peace and beauty and faith. These are the eternal frequencies. And I want to invite you, I want to charge you, I want to encourage you to take the charge as we move into the new theme of the month, curating a bold, bountiful, and beautiful life. And what does it mean to be a curator? A curator is someone, you know, mostly we think of curators like in museums, they curate displays, art displays, and they are to bring about the best. That's what a curator does. If you actually look at the history of the word curating, it is also tied to religious spiritual teachings to bring about the best from within. You are the curator of your life, and I'm going to ask you to say yes to rising into the greatest vision and version of your life ever, which means you're going to be an optimist. You're going to relinquish pessimism, and you're going to embrace optimism simply because you are the ruler of your life. And you will learn that you are going to move from complaining to proclaiming. So complaining, you know, a couple weeks ago, I was getting my hair cut, and whenever I go, I'll use anything as a time to just zen out, bliss out, and whatever, and I always, whenever I go, the guy who cuts my hair knows we're just gonna zen out, and so no, none of the blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of people use their stylists as their therapists, and oftentimes the therapy they're seeking is, listen to me vent and complain about everything. And so I was listening to this woman, she was venting and complaining over and over and over again. She worked for an elderly woman who was somewhere about 85. She kept saying, this woman, she's 85 and she's stuck in her ways. And this woman who was getting her hair done was probably about, 30-something. And she wanted to do new things and different things. But she was saying that her boss was just stuck in her ways and wouldn't let her use new technology and new ways of doing things. It sounded like she was doing bookkeeping through, those ledgers and handwriting and everything, something crazy like that. And so I can get it. It's like, yeah, you don't want to use outdated ways of doing things when there's more efficient ways. But she must have said, oh my God, she's 85 and she keeps going in old ways about 20 times over the course of getting my hair cut. I was laughing because I was like, wow, she's really using the power of complaining to beget more complaining. And doesn't even know that it's happening. And so all I did was like, because nothing is random in life. There's nothing random about overhearing something, witnessing something. Whenever you're hearing something, seeing something, witnessing something, no matter what it is, it's not like, oh, that's a thing separate over there, and I'm over here. You drive by an accident. Oh, that's something separate over there. And believe it or not, it's not supposed to be a reason to just slow down and go, and slow down all the traffic on your side of the freeway. That's not what it's about. It's about going, I'm going to bless that situation. I want to bless this woman too, because her frustration underneath, if you listen to what's underneath the complaint, you're going to find the desire. And I'm going to invite you to move from complaining to proclaiming, which means if you feel a complaint coming on, you want to know what's underneath that. She was feeling frustrated, feeling trapped, feeling unheard. So I was just sitting there blessing her with feeling heard and seen. And then it was about, halfway through, I started to notice it started to taper off. It started to taper off because she actually started, what I think, to feel heard and seen. And so it's really, there's never a point when we're not being asked to do what God does. What God does as an omniscient, omnipresent energy is just vibrating truth, vibrating good, vibrating love. And if you can allow yourself to be absorbent and observant of those eternal frequencies, that's where transformation comes along. And as we move into the topic of today, which is fulfilling your questiny, we're all here on a quest. We all have the same destiny. Our destiny is to feel and know and experience our oneness with and as the divine. There's no way around it. There's no way to not fulfill your destiny. Everyone will experience Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, the Atman present. Everybody is going to experience enlightenment. It's up to you to remember. So a quest is an adventure, it's a journey, it's a pursuit of something. When I am connected with the temporal energies, I might be in pursuit of feeling guilt or shame. I might be in pursuit of a good challenge that always ends up being not good. I might be in pursuit of something of the temporal world. We need to move into being in pursuit and have a quest that satiates our destiny, that satiates our good. To remember that we have to connect with the vision of our life and allow that to be the quest. And when you take your quest and your destiny and you put them together, you have a questiny, which means your questiny says, I am going to participate in the fulfillment of my oneness with the divine so that I may be in the world but not of the world, and do it through joy. The universe does not work through arduousness and hardship. The universe does not work. We hear lots of stories in scripture. We hear about the hundreds of years that the Israelites were in bondage with the Egyptians and Pharaoh, and then all of a sudden, 40 years in the desert. And so one might take away from that story that, so it's something there's going to be a long and arduous time. No, what one takes away from the story is, I won't take no for an answer. I am going to persevere. Now, when you persevere in your questiny, by allowing the divine to flow through you and for you all the time, you are the instrument, you are the vessel, and you must choose it. That is the rule of the game of life of the human experience. You signed up. You may have forgotten that you signed up. They were like, so you're in this little heavenly oasis in the clouds, and they're like, were you planning on going down to earth? Yeah, okay. Where did you want to live? Did you pick a gender yet? Did you pick a race, a nationality? You're picking out all the things. You wanted to experience hardship? Okay. And so you're picking all these things, and you're leaving this blissful, and you incarnate, but your choices don't stop. Your choices always are evolving, and you want to let them to be part of that questiny where you're choosing good all the time. Now, when it comes to complaining, I don't know if you've ever heard this little situation. I'm not complaining, but. And there's a big rant of complaining. I think there's something off here. And a lot of times people will complain and they don't even know that they're complaining. So we don't make complaining bad or wrong. We don't judge, oh, you're a complainer. We don't do that. What we do is we either hold a space, and I'm going to ask you today, if there's anything that you complain about that you don't know you're complaining about, you're going to become aware and you're going to let it go. That is the thing that trips most people up. We have habits and we have beliefs that turn out as expressions in our lives, and we don't know how or why. And we don't dig around and kind of till the soil to find out what's going on. You have dominion over your life. We want to make sure that we remember prayer is not only a vehicle to take us from the temporal to the eternal. It's not only a way to use the law of transmutation to heal. It is also a way of life. Ceaseless prayer means you're living in the prayer field where the answer and the prayer simultaneously exist, and you want for nothing. It might be kind of a mind boggle to think, ooh, how could I be in this world and want for nothing? When you know that you are one with God and that God is your source and your supply, you'll begin to remember that prayer is oftentimes like breathing. When you're breathing, you just breathe. It's just happening. You breathe in and out. If you pay attention to your breathing, you might be observant that you are breathing shallow. You're only bringing your breath down to here. Now, when we open up to prayer, where we allow it to have its way with us, it flows like a full breath. You'll feel the breath. We know our lungs only come down about here, but if you breathe a holy breath, it'll feel like you're breathing it down to your gonads. You're really taking a deep breath. Don't know where that came from. But you're really, it feels like, you can feel like your whole body is breathing. And we want to make sure that we understand. So it's like if I become observant that I'm only breathing to here, and maybe I'm breathing to here. A lot of it, that's why the breathwork classes are so popular. Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, because it's starting to get you to breathe. You don't need this holy, you don't need a class in order to say, okay, I'm going to allow myself to become observant of my breath, and through intention first, I'm going to start to say, I'm going to breathe. Now, your breath will tell you, if you're breathing shallow, it means you've got worries, doubts, fears, and concerns and stress going on. And so then that should be an indicator. I want to release that. Now, when we move into the temporal world, we use temporal ways to heal, meaning we use things like medications, or we use things like certain protocols to kind of mitigate a symptom. So if I had a headache, I might take an aspirin or a Tylenol or whatever it may be. Instead of being aware, a headache is just energy that's stuck. It's just stuck. Any pain is energy that is stuck. And so we want to find out, I want to free the energy so that it's flowing. I shared this with you many, many years ago when I first started doing all of this, and I started to wanted to become in tune with what is my body telling me. Your body is the last train stop on the train of the flow of life in your experience, meaning that the energy comes through your mental, your emotional, and then the last stop is the physical. When it makes it into the physical and it shows up as a pain, a tingle, a sensation, or something like that that you can tangibly feel in your body, if that is pain, it means energy is stuck. Energy is supposed to flow. It's always moving. The omni-activity of the divine is always flowing. We're always breathing in and out. We might be breathing shallow, we might be breathing deep, but no matter what it is, we are breathing and we are circulating that energy. So we want to make sure that we stay aware of that. Similarly, as we become aware of that, you become aware of things like, if I'm complaining about something, I want to do something about it. If I have a pain, I want to make sure that in addition, so let's say I'm going to take the aspirin. All right, but bless it and say, I want to know what it is that I am being woken up to. There's something that I am needing to be woke up to. Whether that's physical pain or emotional or mental anguish, we want to make sure that we open up and allow ourselves to see, feel, and remember that everything boils down to the beliefs you have about anything. A belief is a thought that has taken up residence in your mind. A belief is a thought that has taken up residence in your mind. So you have a thought that is transitory and it moves through. When it takes up residency, you're going to have a belief. And those beliefs are going to create the filters that create the experience that even can create the habits of your life. Many of us have squatters in our mind. Squatters in our mind that are saying, this is no good and that is no good, because that belief is going to take on a voice, and those squatters are the ones we need to evict. We need to make sure that those squatters aren't squashing and squatting on our dreams, because oftentimes that's what happens. Those beliefs of limitation tend to inhibit our expression and experience, and you'll know you have a squatter if you're complaining. When you're complaining, that means that a belief has taken up residence in your mind, and it's time to serve an eviction notice. It's time to say, you're out of here, and take dominion over your life. But how do you do that? We do that by being still. We move into that meditational field, and we allow ourselves to become observant. So when I got the headache, I was like, oh, let me see what's going on. And if you have any kind of an awareness, you know that different parts of the body are going to give you clues as to what's going on. This is connected to your mind's eye. It's also connected to faith and trust, trusting things. I happened to be involved in a situation at the time where I didn't trust the people that I was dealing with. I don't know if any of you think or have experienced where you're maybe in a business dealing or a situation or a circumstance where you don't trust somebody. And so I was in a business dealing with this individual, and something was like, I just don't really trust them. I think they're going to take advantage. I think they're charging too much. Something like that. And so most people would say, oh, well, that's normal. It's normal that when you're dealing with a used car salesman that you can't trust them. It's normal that, people overinflate or do this. No, that's not normal in the divine, because the universe is cooperative. It is cohesive. It is serendipitous. If there's any area of life where you feel like something is working against you, then we want to move into a place where it's like, we know that it is not seeing is believing. We know it is believing is seeing. And we also know that we're going to go beyond believing is seeing, and we're going to go into knowing is experiencing heaven on earth. Knowing is experiencing heaven on earth, because knowingness transcends belief. You've heard me say it before, belief belongs to the ego, it belongs to the personality, it belongs to the temporal world. When they transcribed pray ye believing, it really is pray ye knowing. In God all things are made new, in God all things are possible. That's a knowingness of a truth. When you know a truth, you absolutely know it in your bones, it will be. That's participating in being in the world but not of the world. There is a divine idea of your life, and your destiny is the fulfillment of that. If we were to use a different metaphor, using the Hollywood metaphor, you are the star, the director, the writer, the producer of your life. You are in charge of all of it. There is no victimization in the divine. There can't be anything against you. Even when it seems so real, something is against me. They just cut me off. They must be against me. No, we're not going to participate in that. We're going to participate in going, if it feels like something against me, if it feels like my body is against me, if it feels like so-and-so is against me, if it feels like the stranger who cut me off is against me, I am going to do my spiritual practice to be aware of, that felt like somebody's against me, and I am going to move into, I know that in God, everything is for me and nothing is against me. Everything is cooperative and cohesive and serendipitous, and I am evoking that. I'm choosing to experience even more good because I'm the curator of my good, of my beauty. The universe only operates through beauty. When we take time, like coming up when we go on the summer meditation and nature retreat, we're going to spend time, we're going to unplug from the temporal world, even while we're in the temporal world, and allow the vibration of nature to stimulate. The negative ions that are out in nature is what creates resonance. If you want to shift your state of being, you have to participate in curating resonance. Resonance is when a belief has you on a scale of 1 to 10 out of 10, it's going to sometimes seem like, oh, it's going to be really hard. I can't trust this person. For example, I was working with a woman once, and she had been physically abused by a former partner of hers. And it was a pretty ugly situation with physical violence, etc. I don't want to get too deep into that. However, it left a hard scar on her. And at that particular time, you might put that at a 10, 9 or 10 on the Richter scale of trauma. And so when it came time to address, like I could tell, we know that we're going to have to go in and we're going to have to address victimization. We're going to have to address things that are against me. We're going to have to address forgiveness at some point. But now wasn't the time. Right now what was necessary is you need to know somebody's there and that you are loved and adored and that compassion is going to hold you. But we are not going to create a needy person. We're not going to create somebody who is going to then put up boundaries and blockades that prevent them from having their good. We're going to say, we're going to wait as a spiritual practitioner for the moment. We're going to say, we're going to crack open the door to the divine, and we're going to start to allow divine strength, and we're going to start to allow inspiration, and even a little prematurely, we're going to start to allow forgiveness. We don't have to do anything. We're just going to let it happen. We're going to say, you know what? I'll allow forgiveness. I'll allow divine right perception. I'll allow goodness. I'll allow myself to release victimization and everything associated with it. And then you just let it be. There's no urgency in the divine. There's no hurry up in the divine. The divine, when you open to it and you acquiesce and you say, I will be a humble, available servant of the truth, grace takes over. And we want to open to the grace, no matter what the situation, no matter what the circumstance, so that we can be empowered. And we want to stay in that. When we say our affirmations before service, all of those affirmations are steeped and connected to principles of truth. Oftentimes when people say an affirmation, they don't necessarily feel it. They're like, ooh, I like that affirmation. It's clever, it sounds good, it's positive, it's affirmative. Check, 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 good, good, good. But am I embodying it? So we're all going to say, yes, I will embody the truth of that affirmation and the principle that it is tied to, which is the glory of my soul, which is inevitable, because it's going to happen no matter what. But your quest, the adventure of life, and this is why I always say on the daily affirmative prayer call, we're going to heal, grow, and expand in benevolent, beautiful, brilliant, elegant, joyful, graceful ways, always divinely, because we have to set a precedent. Do you want your questioning to be arduous? You know, a lot of people learn through experience. You might even hear people say, oh, this is earth school, and you're here to learn lessons. If I had $1 for every time somebody said, oh, I just went through this really hard thing, but the blessing was that because of that, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have learned this. I wouldn't have learned how to go deeper to compassion. Now, the only little problem with that, now all of that is kind of true, except for the part, if this hadn't happened, then I wouldn't have this. That's the part that's not entirely true. You can learn, as Reverend Michael would say, to be pushed by the pain, or you can be pulled by the vision. If you're pulled by the vision, it means you're cooperating with be still and know that I am. The universe is always going to ask, because you have free will and free choice. The universe is always asking, it doesn't literally ask, but awaits your decision. I will let go of this burden. I will give this to the law of transmutation, and I will be empowered by divine strength, by the truth, by clarity, by optimism. When truth as an intellectual understanding turns into a revelation, you will have transformation. When truth is just an intellectual understanding, oftentimes you'll have frustration. We're not interested in being a community of frustration. We're interested in being in a community where we're going to take the bull by the horn. We're going to say, yes, I'm ready to rock and soul. ready to let it be good. I know that sometimes we focus on our community on the positive, the affirmative, go, go, rah, rah. We want to make sure that it's like, let's rock and soul, people. And then there are the tender times. There are the tender times of transitions. There's the tender times of loss. We want to bring the purest form of capital C compassion. That's where you're going to find transformation, not lowercase c compassion, which empathizes, that can also sometimes debilitate. It would be like the same as the complainer. It's like, oh my God, can you believe so-and-so? Oh yeah, I know, so-and-so, so-and-so. We're not going to commiserate and create agreements together onto why so-and-so or such and such is bad. It's so tempting to be right about things that are wrong. I know it's very tempting, but not us. We're not going to be tempted by blaming, shaming, or complaining. We are going to say yes to being absolutely overwhelmed with proclaiming and declaring our good, with making sure that our questioning is on fire by our practice. Our practice, we're going to utilize tools in our practice until we no longer need them. Over the past couple days, I was leading a facilitation, a training in energy work, and we were going through stuff, and people were sharing things, along the lines of, oh yes, I don't like people coming near me with their negative energy, and I've got my shield of protection, and I've got to make sure that I'm fortified so that I can go out into the world, and that all these energies that are against me, that it's okay because I've got this bubble, this cone of protection around me to protect me from all the evils of the world. And it's like, okay, right there, we're describing things are against me. And if I don't stay fortified, if I don't exercise on a regular basis to fight the evildoers out there, then something bad is going to happen. And it is kind of a rites of passage where sometimes you do have to kind of put yourself in a place where I need a little space of protection. But you got to go the next step. And the next step is I'm going to be fortified in the knowingness that cooperation is inherent in life and cooperation is inherent in my life. What does cooperation look like? It looks like kindness. It looks like generosity. It looks like being heard and seen and loved and adored. You got to get in there and get into the nitty-gritty. You got to get in there and define your life. That's what your questioning is about. That's what being the writer, the director, the producer. If you read a script, you're going to see in the script, they're going to describe the character. This person is empowered and emboldened and lively, etc. Or this person is homely and weak and whatever. What do you want to be? Are you going to write your character and say, I am choosing to be these things and I will grow into these things and I will allow myself to grow into these things in benevolent, glorious ways? The person who stands before you today is not the person of 25 years ago when I was afraid of confrontation. If somebody had a little piece of spinach in their teeth, I'd be like, I gotta get out of here. I can't tell you have spinach in your teeth, and then you're gonna get offended and you're gonna get mad at me, and oh my God, I gotta get out of here. That's literally and it's like, it's so good. It's like, hey, I love you. You got some spinach in your teeth. No big deal. You want to make sure that you can live a life that is emboldened with love and compassion and joy and kindness and generosity. We are born in the image and likeness of God, and God can only do for you what God can do through you. You have to allow that through-ness. You open the channel, and then you're going to expand your bandwidth. Right now, if we were to just go with our auric field reader and flow and see the flow of the energy through the channels and meridians of your physical, emotional, and mental bodies, we would be able to see, your bandwidth is at this. Your bandwidth is that much divine life force, chi, prana energy that you let flow through your energy body. You have control over this. You have dominion over this. The universe never says, oh no, I don't think you can have that. The universe doesn't say, oh well, I know you deeply desire it, but I've got a more arduous way that you can learn through pain and suffering. That's not the way the universe operates. The universe operates through the path of least resistance and most glory. And we're going to say yes to that. We're going to make sure that we expand our bandwidth. One of the phenomena that I was sharing yesterday in class is that most of us, our bandwidth, let's just say for sake of argument, you have 100 watts when you're like, it's a good day. I got my parking spaces, I had lunch with so-and-so, all my clothes were clean, my hair is cooperating, you're having a good day. Your bandwidth, when you're in joy, when you're in happiness, your bandwidth is going to come out to its maximum frequency. It's going to come out to its maximum voltage. Then something's going to happen, somebody cuts you off, and then all of a sudden, within the bandwidth, the energy is going to kind of constrict down. But then you're going to come back, and you're going to fluctuate within your bandwidth as to how much good. And your bandwidth is directly associated with your baseline. And your baseline, as you're moving through life, on a regular day when there's no drama, no trauma, whatever, I'm going through, I'm having an even better day, and then you come back to your baseline, I'm having an awful day, and then you come back to your baseline. You're always going to come back to the resonant field of your baseline, which is associated with your bandwidth. You get to expand that. You get to say, I've been working with 100 watts of bandwidth, and I'm moving up to 200, 300, 400. We are not living degenerative lives. We are living rejuvenating, regenerative lives, which means we don't settle for the status quo, and we don't, as tempting as it is, this is complaining in disguise. Complaining in disguise is, the reason that this happened is because so-and-so and such, this happened. Or this is what's going on in the economy. So-and-so or such and such doesn't want to cooperate with me. So I'm not necessarily complaining going, they're awful, they're bad, but I am surrendering to mediocrity and I'm surrendering to a status quo that is not status glow. We're saying yes to rising into a status glow, which means, this might be what just went down, but I'm going to go inside and I'm going to reconfigure and expand my bandwidth, which applies to everything from the physical to the emotional to the mental to the situational. We're going to make sure that we are cognizant and aware that we are going to allow our questiny, the adventure to wholeness, to be fun, to be filled with joy. Now, I, for one, used to be on a degenerative, I was a degenerate years ago, meaning that I was slowly going downhill, and I was adopting things of the reason of this and the reason of that, and I was a complainer too, and all of those things, and that is degenerate lifestyle. And then all of a sudden, wake up and say, wait a minute, how do I participate in regenerate? I'm going to be a regenerate. I'm going to rejuvenate and regenerate and expand my bandwidth. And the first time I noticed, when I was in meditation, and I noticed, my baseline, and I could see where it was, good day, bad day, baseline. And then all of a sudden, there was all these healings that took place, and boom, new baseline, new bandwidth, more energy, more joy, more good. And it's not about the ego's version of, I just want to be happy, I want to, it's not about controlling. Happiness, remember, happiness is predicated on if this, then I'll be happy. If not, then I'll be sad. Joy is predicated on joy. It just is. We move into a place of isness. Isness is our business in our community. We make sure that we go into the isness business of rejuvenation and regeneration. That's what we're saying yes to. And it requires your participation. It requires your meditation. It requires your prayer, your intention. It requires your journaling. It requires your self-awareness. It requires going below the idea that you understand how you feel. Most people say, I'm frustrated. No, that's not it. Sorry, try again. Sorry. I'm very angry because no, sorry, try again. Well, because frustration and anger, resentment, we already know, those are secondary emotions. Hurt is underneath there. And if you fall, I'm frustrated. What's the frustration attached to? I feel powerless and hopeless, and I feel like, now we're getting warm. You know the day where you're like, get warmer. I get warmer. And then all of a sudden, the reason we need to do that is because then you can make the transformational choice. If I'm just I'm letting go of frustration, that is not a transformational choice. A transformational choice is, I'm allowing myself to bring this situation with so-and-so into a holy vibration of forgiveness, where I will allow truth and revelation to set me free. That is a transformational choice.
Yes.
Not some airy-fairy, I just say my little affirmation, I am prosperous, I am prosperous. No, we're saying I am choosing to understand and know that I am a child of the Most High, and that life and God always gives and never withholds, and I know that I am deserving and worthy of my good in every way, shape, and form, including prosperity. And you'll dig a little deeper if you need to on a regular basis. That's what it means to be on your spiritual path, and your destiny to wholeness is inevitable, so you might as well get cracking. We're going to go deeper, we're going to rise higher, we're going to make sure that we are pursuing and being the curator, which brings forward the best. We're not going into some display where there's ratty-tatty walls and dirty pictures and things of that nature. We're going like, ooh, look at the pristine magnificence of my life. And you're going to go around and go 360 degrees and go, wow, look what I took care of over here with all these people. Look what I took care of over here. Oh my God. And then, oh, look. You're going to make sure you cover every nook and cranny, because God is 100%. The universe does not operate at less than 100%. You're going to expand your bandwidth to hold more good, and you're going to raise your baseline, and then guess what? You're going to do it all over again. But the good news is, when you do it again, it's easier and more fun. So you're going to allow, because pray and play, we've all heard it, vibrate at the same frequency. So playing and fun is a big, like I know you had a lot of fun at your birthday celebration the other day. And this is from her birthday celebration. I'll let you share who that's for. But yes, so our beloved Diana Delight is, she's the one who's embodiment of joy. Yes. So we're going to say yes to that. All of us are going to rise into that light factor, and we're not going to get stuck in our ways. We're going to allow ourselves to burst through into new paradigms, and we're going to allow that to happen even more, even now. So I'm going to invite you to join me as we move into the prayer field and say, yes, I will allow myself to be overwhelmed with optimistic faith. Yes? All right. Oh, so we take this moment, each and every one of us, we move into a benevolent state of vulnerability. I am vulnerable to my good. I am vulnerable and available only to blessings and blessings. I am vulnerable to the divine light that is God Almighty and me Almighty, for I am a divine emanation of the Most High. Grateful to take this moment, knowing each and every one of us has a destiny of wholeness and a questiny of adventure and joy. We have chosen today that we are healing, growing, and expanding, embracing our good in benevolent, serendipitous, brilliant, and beautiful ways. We allow the bounty of the divine to shine itself. We know that there is a power within us that is united with the power that created every galaxy, that illuminates every star, that is orbiting every planet, that is whirling every asteroid and breathing our breath right now. We choose to breathe the holy breath, the deep breath, the fresh breath, and we expand our bandwidth to hold more good, more joy, more compassion, more love, more self-love than ever before. We are using this as a catalyst to go deeper and higher in the magnificence of the radiance of our isness. We are one with the divine. We have chosen to anchor heaven on earth, and we are allowing it to be good retroactively, proactively. For we know that the universe, that God Almighty knows nothing of the past or the future, and the present, when lifted into the eternal, is resplendent with benevolent opportunities, possibilities. We have chosen only benevolent opportunities and possibilities, and we say yes to that. We say yes. We say yes to the cry from the mouth of babes. Yes. Yes to our good. Yes to magnificent peace and a genuine, sincere embracing of our own divinity. We ground it so, know it so, proclaim it so, for we no longer complain, we only proclaim the truth. And we allow it to be good, and we allow it to be now, and we allow it to be so by saying, and so I let it be.
So I let it be.
And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
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 tithing or participating in generosity, participating in the law of circulation, knowing just as it says in the promise of the promissory note, as Reverend Michael always says, in God we trust. We are saying, yes, I trust that I have never been without, and I will expand my good and my capacity. We're going to expand our bandwidth to hold more prosperity than ever before. And as always, you can tithe in a bunch of different ways. You can text the word give. And as we put this in, knowing that this is going towards the prosperity of our new place. You can do it in a variety of different ways. You can do it for those of you at home streaming in live or wherever you are in the world. You can text the word give from any cellular device to area code 669-342-2157. And you can also you can hit the donate button from our website, the give button. All of this is safe and secure. Those of you who are here in person that have little blue butterflies, you're depositing those in our basket. That means you're on our auto tithe program. And if any of you would ever like to join and be on the auto tithe program, that would be wonderful. If you want to give on top of that, that would also be wonderful. And we are holding that all of this returns to you multiplied beyond your wildest dreams, minimally 10 times. We know that this is an individual and collective experience. So we are grateful for all that, grateful for all of you who tithe continually online. Super appreciative, and we are claiming our permanent home this year. We're allowing it to be. And with that being said, I'm going to have the ushering angels go forward, and Rena is going to come forward as we move into our song.
Everybody say hi, Soleil. Hi, She's joining us today. I keep finding voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am. 'Cause I need to know. Ooh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say and I believe, oh I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth. Taking all I have and I'm laying it at your feet. You have every failure, God. You have every victory. Ooh. You say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. And you say I am held when I am falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I am yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe, yes, I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe. I believe. I think she likes you.
All right, we're gonna have the usher angels come forward. We're gonna put you to work. We're gonna put you to work to bless the offering, which means you're gonna raise your hands. We're gonna also put our hands and our prayers through our hearts, and we're going to say, "Oh, I am just truly grateful to bless this offering, knowing that I am the blessed and the blessor. I am one with God, and I allow my good and God to flow through me, to me, for me, to be in the world but not of the world, to know infinite benevolent supply is ours, individually and collectively. Grateful to know that this returns to everyone, multiplied abundantly, benevolently, bountifully. We allow it all to be good, and we allow it all to be so, blessing it, knowing it, proclaiming it, declaring it, and so it is."
Today we talked about groundedness, and it's feeling at home within yourself, feeling at peace and present within your own skin. So we moved together today, a lot of free movement, without thinking about how we were looking, but just focusing on our connection with the ground and with ourselves and with each other.
Rise for our closing song, the key song. The words are in your program if you want to sing along with us.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, love was all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my soul's vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And as we continue in the flowing omnipresence and omni-activity of God, we let peace and love and joy and all of the eternal energies of Omnium's loving glory have its way to, through, and as our being. As we increase our baseline, we increase our bandwidth, we allow ourselves to curate even something even greater through goodness, through peace, through beauty, through cooperation and joy. These are the eternal energies, and we allow it to be now. We allow it to be so, and we agree by saying, and so it is.
So it is.